Hey, Kinelight family. It's great to be back to the channel that brings you the spotlight on the best of movies, TV, and all things cinematic. Today's list is going to be a breath of fresh indie air. We're counting down the top 10 indie movies of the last decade, films that moved us, shook us, and left us thinking long after the credits rolled. These aren't just movies, they're experiences. So grab a cup of coffee, settle into your favorite chair, and let's really explore cinema that does something. Let's go. Number 10, Aftersun. How does a memory feel so real you can almost smell it? Aftersun captures the soft, passing moments between a young girl and her father on a summer vacation that feels both mundane and deeply profound. Against the background of a Turkish holiday resort, the narrative is told from the point of view of Sophie, an inquisitive and perceptive 11-year-old girl, as she observes her father, Callum, dealing with a low-key but increasing sadness that he attempts to conceal. What's interesting here isn't what occurs, it's what doesn't. The prolonged silences, the understanding looks, the fact that the camera lingers, as if it too is attempting to grasp him. Paul Mescal delivers an eerie performance, and Frankie Corio is absolute magic as Sophie. This movie doesn't scream, it whispers. And for some inexplicable reason, that whisper rings louder than most blockbusters ever could. Number 9, The Banshees of Inisherin. Imagine waking up one morning and your best buddy suddenly decides they don't want to ever talk to you again, period. That's the bitter quandary at the core of The Banshees of Inisherin, a blackly comedic story on a tiny Irish island. Colin Farrell is Patrick, the nice fellow who's caught off guard by the sudden dissolution of his lifelong friendship with Callum, played with dark refinement by Brendan Gleeson. It's not simply about wounded egos. It's about loneliness, vanity, legacy, and the very real fear of being erased into oblivion. Martin McDonagh brushes his scenes with acid wit and searing melancholy. As stakes rise in the most absurdly tragic and heartbreaking manner, we're reminded that we're not just witnessing a friendship torn apart, but two worlds implode quietly, and yet we can't help but look away. Number 8, The Florida Project. You're welcome to the Magic Castle Motel, where life seen through a child's eyes is colorful, even among poverty. The Florida Project presents us with Mooney, a 6-year-old girl being raised by her young wayward mother on the edge of Disney World. She plays all day making trouble, constructing forts, and eating ice cream with her friends while being none the wiser about the tempest that her mother is battling just behind the doors of the motel. And director Sean Baker takes us on a tour of American life that is all too frequently ignored, and he does it with empathy, honesty, and wide-eyed wonder. Brooklyn Prince acts with such naturalness, such color, that it's amazing to think she's performing at all. And Willem Dafoe? He's the heart of this film, a motel manager between rulebook obligations and humanity. The final scene will shatter your heart and possibly sew it back together again. Number 7, Nomadland. What do you do when the system has forgotten you, but nature has not forgotten you? In Nomadland, we watch Fern, played by Frances McDormand, travel through the American West in her van, existing as a contemporary nomad after being left with nothing in the Great Recession. But this is not a tearjerker. It's a film about resilience, loneliness, and liberty. Director Chloe Zhao combines real-life nomads with scripted narrative, making a film that is more documentary than fiction. The landscapes are expansive and still. The moments are unfiltered. And in the midst of it all, Fern finds meaning in the gaps between destinations. You don't merely watch Nomadland, you follow along, and in the process, you discover pieces of yourself. Number 6, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Mourning doesn't play by rules, and neither does Mildred Hayes. In 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, Frances McDormand stars as a mother who rents 3 old billboards to castigate the local police for their inability to solve the murder of her daughter. It's a brazen act, and it sets off a firestorm in a small town already abuzz with secrets. Martin McDonagh's acerbic script plunges deep into fury, absolution, and the dark gray zones in between. Nobody here is all good or bad, they're just human. Flawed, battered, desperate. The acting is nothing less than electric, and the tale engulfs you in emotional surprises you won't anticipate. It's not justice, it's being heard. Number 5. It's Such a Beautiful Day. What if your whole life was narrated in a stick figure? Don Hertzfeldt's It's Such a Beautiful Day is a philosophical tour de force that delves into life, memory, and death in the most Spartan animation possible. But don't be fooled by the austerity. This movie is more profound than most epics. It is the story of Bill, a mundane fellow suffering from memory loss and existential disorientation. With disjointed narration, dreamlike imagery, and abrupt changes in mood, the film drags you along on a brain falling apart. You'll laugh, you'll think, you might even shed a tear. And by its end, you'll be wondering everything you ever knew about stories. This is not a film, it's an experience. Number 4, You're a Ladybird. Get to know Christine, also known as Ladybird. She's 17, defiant, melodramatic, and fiercely wanting to escape her hometown of Sacramento. Greta Gerwig's coming-of-age tale is as authentic as it comes. The fights with her mom, the awkward high school moments, the craving for independence while not quite knowing what that really means. Saoirse Ronan captures every shade of teenage confusion and longing, and Laurie Metcalf delivers one of the most honest mother roles in modern cinema. It's funny, emotional, nostalgic, and so specific that it becomes universal. We've all been Ladybird at some point, trying to fly before we've grown our wings. Number 3, Incendies. No secrets are ever buried, no matter how far you go. In Incendies, 2 Canadian twins travel to the Middle East to learn about the repressed past of their recently deceased mother. What they find is a tapestry of war, identity, and tragedy that goes far beyond what they know. Denis Villeneuve, who went on to direct Dune and Arrival, gives a heartbreaking, raw story that accumulates like a mystery and strikes like a tragedy. The movie addresses the private toll of war, the weight of inheritance, and the harshness of reality. And just when you think you know it, you realize the ending alters everything. Number 2, Moonlight. Told in 3 acts, childhood, adolescence, and adulthood. Moonlight is the coming-of-age story of Chiron, a young boy growing up black, gay, and poor in Miami. But this isn't simply a film about identity. It's about silence, yearning, and survival. Every act introduces a new actor, a new face, but the essence stays the same: quiet, vulnerable, searching. Barry Jenkins brings every scene to life with emotion, color, and vulnerability. This isn't a movie you watch, it's a movie you feel. And by the conclusion, you'll understand how unusual it is to observe something this unguarded on screen. Number 1, Everything Everywhere All at Once. What if you led 1,000 different lives in different universes and still couldn't get your head around yourself? In Everything Everywhere All at Once, Michelle Yeoh stars as a laundromat owner frazzled by a messy life who finds herself sucked into a multiverse war to prevent a threat that spans endless timelines. It's wild, chaotic, hilarious, and surprisingly touching. You'll see kung fu, hot dog fingers, bagel black holes, and time loops, and somehow amidst the madness, you'll cry. Because underneath the noise, this is a story about family, regret, and learning to love your own imperfections. The Daniels direct this with fearless originality, and the result is one of the most unforgettable indie films of the decade. And there you have it, 10 indie classics that show big stories can be told without big budgets. These movies lingered with us well after the credits finished rolling, and if you've watched even one of them, you know exactly what we're talking about. Which one struck you the most? Let us know in the comments. And for more cinematic deep dives, recaps, and gems, subscribe to Kinelight, tap the bell, and join a community that loves genuine storytelling. Until next time, keep watching boldly.